Hey, welcome to Neppy Invest. I should be sleeping right now. I'm in between two 12-hour night shifts, but I always check the market before I go to sleep. And lo and behold, Self Wealth decided to release their Appendix 4C this morning. It was the first Appendix 4C that was released this quarter. And if I was a betting man, I probably would have bet that Self Wealth would have been the first company to release their quarterly cash flow report. And lo and behold, they did. They always seem to be the first company to release it. So let's have a look at their Appendix 4C for this quarter. Now, for disclosure purposes, I'm not a Self Wealth shareholder, but I do use their platform. So I do have a bit of an underlying interest in how they're performing in this quarter. So this is just a little bit of a snippet from their announcement, their Appendix 4C, and it's the cash flows from operating activities. It's the main thing I'm interested in, particularly the receipts from customers, and then the bottom line, the 1.9, which is the operating cash flow, positive or negative. And in this case, we do see a negative number there, 29,000. Receipts from customers, 4.5 million, which I know from previous quarters, that's up a little bit. Now, one thing I'm doing this round of Appendix 4Cs is just looking at operations, investing and financing cash flows. So in October 2020, I was just looking at operations cash flow. So Self Wealth began the quarter with $6.5 million in the piggy bank. Because of operation cash loss, they did lose 29,000. In investing, they did spend 125,000 on a security bond with Phillip Capital for their US trading services. They did begin US trading on December 14, if I remember correctly. In financing, they did get some money because 3.7 million options were exercised. So they finished the quarter actually with greater amount of cash than they began it, just because of those options that were exercised. So they finished the quarter at $7.3 million in the bank, which is a good amount of money for a company like Self Wealth. Now, the one thing I really like to do is to look at trends of cash receipts. So that's a main thing I look for. And when I see a really good trend, in this case, Self Wealth has that trend, an upward trend, that's when I look at other things about the company. I look at whether they're cash flow positive, and that sort of thing. So Self Wealth has that upward sloping trend, and they began their life on the ASX in April 2017 with $40,000 in cash receipts. They grew that cash receipt slowly over the time, and by January 2020, they had $1.2 million in cash receipts. Then COVID-19 came, and then we saw an explosion in accounts opened up with Self Wealth, just like any other sort of brokerage platform. It seems like everyone started to want to, start investing in equities, and Self Wealth definitely was a beneficiary of that COVID-19 investment fueled sort of frenzy. And we saw cash receipts go from 1.2 million in January 2020 to 4.2 million in July 2020. Now, after that sort of rapid growth, you would have expected cash receipts to level off a little bit. The one fear I had would see cash receipts start to drift downward, and the good thing is we haven't seen that. It's sort of gone sideways and up just a little bit. So next thing, I'll just give some details about how they've done this year. So operating revenue and trade volume and active traders all up over 200% year on year. So that's looking back to January 2020. They've also, active traders is also up 70% quarter on quarter. But this quarter we did see growth overall slow down a little bit. And of course, US trading launched in December 14, 2020. Now, they did mention they expect the US trading to be profit center in the next quarter. So it was a loss center this quarter. So I think that means they expect it to be profitable in the next quarter. That's probably a good thing. They also mentioned that this was a heavy investment quarter, which maybe, according to management, explains why they were operating cash flow negative. They also provided a couple of nice graphs in their announcement, looking at operating revenue by quarter, going back to June 2017, and active trader growth by quarter, going back to June 2017, which is all, again, sloping upwards, exactly what you want to see. So next thing I'm going to look at is the chart. So probably the one thing you'll see about this chart is it's not the sort of direction I like to see. So I like to see charts going from the bottom left to the top right. This is just going sideways. We see little peaks and troughs in it, but just really sideways. So if you go back 6 months or so ago, share price was around 60 cents. Now it's gone back to about 53 cents. You could even suggest maybe it's in a medium-term downtrend, and around 50 cents 2 times now in the past 3 or 4 months, it's bounced off 50 cents. So 50 cents seems to be a good price of support, and if it breaks down below 50 cents, that would be quite bearish. But if it breaks above about 60 cents, that would be quite bullish. So it does seem to be trading in a range between 50 cents and 60 cents, and which way it moves above or below that will determine which way whether I become bearish or bullish. So I would probably be buying this if it goes above 60 cents, or selling if it went below 50 cents. But I really can't sell because I'm actually not a holder. So some people might say that's fairly weird. Why you'd buy if it goes up or sell if it goes down? Well, that's just taking momentum or sentiment into account. And I'm a big believer that momentum and sentiment drives the share price of any company's forward in the long term. So that's all I've got on Self-Wealth for this quarter. Hope you've enjoyed it. If you're maybe a shareholder of the company, leave a comment or two. If you think I'm full of crap, leave a comment or two. Think I'm wrong. I don't mind to hear people who believe I'm wrong, because that's how you learn. The whole point of doing these videos is to explore new ideas. So if you have no idea what Self-Wealth does, maybe I've given you some motivation, some inspiration to do some more research on this company. Otherwise, this video is not about giving you advice about what to do. And if you do need advice, make sure you seek out someone who is qualified and can speak to your own circumstances. That's all for this video. Have a good day. Bye.